What's up, my comic comrades? Today is an important episode for two reasons. First, we are getting back to Dan Slott's Superman Unlimited title with issues 3 and 4. And second, because after 10 years in this studio, Variant's parent company, Triune Films, is making a move. What does that mean for Variant? Well, there will be a bit of a transition period as we get settled into our new situation, and there may be less content this week and next. But after that, the show will continue in our new location. We've had a lot of fun in this building and made more memories than we could name, but change is healthy, and we're excited for what the future holds. So onwards and upwards. Also, Tim just got back from Gamescom, and we'll have a couple of episodes featuring our early look at the Deadpool VR game coming to MetaQuest, along with Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, Silent Hill F, Phantom Blade Zero, and a bunch more. So keep an eye out for that. But now let's get into Superman Unlimited. This has been a really fun title so far, with the first two issues introducing a new golden power for the Man of Steel, which grants him immunity to Kryptonite if he takes enough damage. We actually covered it in this episode right here. Now let's jump into issues 3 and 4 to see where things go. Alright, so issue 3 starts off in the past at the Kent family farm many years ago as we see a young Clark Kent developing his powers and learning how to use them. Captions from Superman say, "The hardest part of growing up super was living in a world where everything suddenly seemed so fragile." As we see him in the past accidentally rip off Pa Kent's truck door and jump so high he knocks something off the top of a barn. Superman goes on to saying, "The worst of it was when I was still learning to control my powers. It took a lot of hard work, but eventually I got the hang of it. And since I could appreciate how challenging that's been for me, I could only imagine how tough it's always been for my best friend Krypto." Just ask yourself how well you would do if all your favorite treats were always within your reach. As we see in the past, Krypto tearing down the Kent's fridge, raiding the food. He even almost kills a squirrel with his heat vision as Clark says, "Bad dog. We do not do that. The strong protect the weak. Do you understand? Because of our powers, that is who we are. You want to be one of the good ones, right?" As he tries to train and explain this to Krypto. His captions continue to say, "Think what that must be like, to have dog-like instincts and god-like powers. When you're a super dog, you don't chase cars, you catch them every time you see them." As Krypto does exactly that, catching a car full of thieves by the bumper with his teeth. One of the thieves inside says, "Listen to me. If anyone asks, we got busted by Superman. Got it? Just Superman," as we see Superman arrive and pat Krypto on the head saying, "Good boy." We are then finally brought to the present where we see the Kent family eating dinner and Clark tells Jonathan, "I need you to run Krypto around the world a few times. Tire him out." John replies, "I thought we were paying one of the Wally West kids to do that." Clark says, "We, your mother and I, do when all of us are busy. And you're not busy. See how that works? Now walking that dog, that's a job." So Jonathan does exactly that as Krypto literally drags him all around the world. Then we're brought to Gorilla City where we see one of the smartest gorillas in Gorilla City, Tina, is moving to Metropolis to help one of her new co-workers, Jimmy Olsen. But first, she's got to meet him in Gotham City. From here, we're brought back to Smallville where we see Jonathan and Krypto end up at his grandparents' house, Clark's parents. But while Jonathan is talking to his grandparents, Krypto sees some geese and starts chasing them and flying in the air with them, but almost flies into an airplane. At which point, Krypto gets upset knowing he almost messed up. So while he's on the ground pouting, he starts reminiscing of an old fight him, Superman, John Kent, Supergirl, and Robin had with Toyman. As he starts to smell Toyman's scent on the ground next to him, at which point he flies off to follow the scent knowing that Toyman is a bad guy. We're then brought to 10 miles outside of Metropolis where Krypto's scent trail continues as we see the new Toyman driving an 18-wheeler. This brings us to the Metropolis Convention Center where we see Clark there reporting or interviewing Dr. Valencia as he says, "I have a question, Dr. Valencia, but one I feel you might wish to answer in private." She replies, "As you wish, Mr. Kent, but as you can see, our main exhibit isn't here yet." Clark says, "That partner of yours wouldn't happen to be Winslow Schott, would it? Are you working with the convicted supercriminal known as the Toyman?" She says, "Where did you see that?" He answers, "In the fine print, the very fine print. Luckily, I'm wearing special glasses." She then says, "Mr. Kent, I can assure you we are not working with Winslow Schott." However, on the next page, we see the thing the new Toyman was hauling in the 18-wheeler is a gigantic robot as he activates it with a game controller saying, "It's time. Look at you, mint and just outside the box. He's alive. Wait till they see you popping out of the floor like a big old jack-in-the-box." But at this point, Krypto comes flying in and starts fighting the gigantic robot. As Toyman says, "Stop that, you're gonna break it. Bad dog, you're ruining everything." As the robot unleashes tentacles to fight Krypto, Superman arrives, punching right through it. Superman then starts to use his heat vision on the robot saying, "That's my dog, Krypto, here, I'll keep the bucket of volts busy outside," as he opens the robot's mouth so Krypto could fly inside and tear it apart from the inside out. When Krypto gets inside, he realizes the robot is powered by Kryptonite and starts getting weak. Superman then says, "Green K energy, this thing is powered by Kryptonite," as he punches through the robot to get Krypto out. His captions then say the robot's power source, its generator, is unshielded and exposed. "Because I told Krypto to attack everything in there, I can't feel his heartbeat. Only one chance. There's this new trick I can do. I can expel yellow sun energy from my body. Temporarily makes me immune to kryptonite. There has to be a way for me to pass it into Krypto. Please, you're my dog, my best friend. This has to work. So Superman does, and it seems to work as Toyman walks up to Superman. He says, your pup may have smelled shot on me, but that's only because he had his mitts all over me when he built me. Superman says, whatever you're playing at, I don't have time for your games. Toyman says, X-ray me. You'll see. So Superman does, as he sees he's literally a Toyman. Toyman then says, I'm not only Shot's greatest creation, I'm better than he ever imagined. He gave me a consciousness greater than his own. When he built me, he accidentally created a Pinocchio. I swear to you, Soupy, I just want to be a good boy. Superman replies, no offense, Toyman, but if you're trying to be good, why build a giant robot? He answers, what I built was a kryptonite generator, a small and safe device that could power something on a gigantic scale. Please let me through because I got stuff in here that can fix it. As he shoots his gun at his robot or generator saying, thanks, golden boy. Superman says, that sealant you're spraying, it's a poor man's copy of a Inertron, a metal not native to this time period. Toyman says, I found bits of it on the green K the Calderons gave to me. Dr. Valencia then comes in saying, these generators could go out across the globe. Clean way to power entire cities. That is the future El Caldero can provide to every nation on Earth. Superman says it also put a lot more kryptonite out there, but if it's good for the people of Earth, I guess we could put up with it, right boy? As Superman takes Krypto back to the Fortress of Solitude to have Kellex heal him up. After he's healed up, he gives Krypto a present that was gifted to him by Toyman, as we see its robotic dog toys made of Superman villains for Krypto to chase. And with that, we jump to issue 4. But first, here's a question for you. Are you going to the FanX Salt Lake Comic Convention? Because maybe you should be. In just a few weeks, September 25th through the 27th, over 100 celebrity guests from your favorite fandoms will be there. I'm talking The Boys, Marvel, DC, Doctor Who, Vampire Diaries, Schitt's Creek, Star Wars, WWE, and more. Of course, it's a solid lineup. FanX is today's sponsor for a good reason. I mean, beyond meeting stars, FanX will also have a wide range of panels, Q&As, and workshops on everything from voice acting and writing to cosplay techniques and deep dive discussions about your favorite franchises. And that's because FanX is designed for everyone, from seasoned convention veterans to families looking for a fun weekend. They've even got KidCon for the younglings, and all kids 10 and under are free with an adult ticket. It's just a safe and fun environment for fans across the board to come together, celebrate pop culture, and make some good memories. There's also going to be a massive vendor floor where collectors and shoppers can find exclusive merch, rare comics, original artwork from crazy talented artists, unique collectibles, and fan-made crafts that you won't find anywhere else. So again, the FanX Salt Lake Comic Convention is happening in just a few weeks, September 25th through the 27th at the Salt Palace Convention Center. Purchase tickets now at fanxsaltlake.com, and if you use our code VARIANT, you'll save 20% on all ticket types. Just click the link in the description below. You'll be glad you did. Okay, so issue 4 of Superman Unlimited opens up in Gotham City with burglars on top of a rooftop trying to break through the door, but they are interrupted by a man who they think is Batman at first. But once they realize it's Man-Bat, one of them says, oh, thank God, I thought it was Batman. Another thug says, shoot him, as they start lighting Man-Bat up, shooting him several times, causing him to fall off the building. Now, as this is happening, we see that Jimmy Olsen has picked up Tina and is driving with her through Gotham City. She says, thanks for picking me up, Jimmy. He says, no problem. Is this your first time in Gotham? She says, it's my first time outside of Gorilla City. So tell me, why does your branch of the Daily Planet need my IT skills? He says, apparently not everyone's happy about the planet expanding and setting up shop here. Someone keeps stealing the E's off our Daily Planet sign on the roof. Think you could help us figure out who it is? But before they could finish talking, Man-Bat slams down on top of Jimmy's car as Jimmy says, I know we're in Gotham City, but something tells me this is a job for Superman, as he uses his watch to alert Superman back in Metropolis. We then see Superman get the alert, but he says, hang on, pal, I'll be there in a second. But first he saves a socialite, Veronica Vreeland, from falling off a building, catching her before she hits the ground. But since she's wearing kryptonite jewelry and lipstick, Superman says, I'm sorry, miss, but if I'm gonna check to see if you're safe, I'm gonna have to leave you somewhere that's lead-lined. As he puts her in the dumpster, he says, X-ray vision says no broken bones or sprains. You should be fine. She then says, fine, I'm better than fine. I get to post that Superman saved me, as she kisses Superman on the cheek with her kryptonite lipstick. He says, yes, well, if you'll excuse me, a friend needs me, as he flies to Gotham. Meanwhile, in Gotham, we see Jimmy and Tina bring the injured Man-Bat to the Thomas Wayne Medical Center, where Leslie Tompkins works so she could help save him. Tompkins is all like, a talking gorilla? Tina replies, with multiple PhDs, thank you very much. My name is Tina. If you wish, I could assist. Tompkins says, of course. Jimmy, you know I'll treat anyone, but with this patient of yours, are we in any danger? As we see Robin watching all this via surveillance on his 4 four-wheeler. Robin then says to himself, from a wounded Man-Bat? No, of course not. Why would anyone think that, idiots? It's a good thing for Leslie that Batman cares about her enough to have her clinic monitored 24/7. Back at the clinic, we see they're trying to help Man-Bat as he wakes up and starts attacking the three of them. But lucky for them, as this happens, Superman arrives, busting through the wall saying, guess that's my cue. Sorry about that, Leslie. I'll fix it later. What seems to be the problem? As we see Man-Bat attack Superman, Superman holds him off saying, Dr. Langstrom, please control yourself. He then straps Man-Bat down, but Man-Bat is able to bite Superman on the arm. It's at this point Damian Wayne Robin arrives saying, let's see, big hole in the wall, loud sounds of struggle. Looks like someone's attacking this problem with a hammer when what's needed was a scalpel. As Robin starts taking down Man-Bat. With Robin's help, they're able to subdue Man-Bat, tying him down to the table completely. As Robin says, that's not Kurt Langstrom. Can't you tell he's 2 inches shorter? That's one of Langstrom's old lab assistants. I've been tracking him down. This is the case I've been investigating. This guy developed a new version of the Man-Bat serum. Jimmy asks, what makes his serum different? Robin tells him it's far more dangerous because this strain might be communicable. But the problem is, on the next page, we see Superman turn into a Man-Bat as captions say, exposure to kryptonite left my skin penetrable. What's coursing inside me, I can't control. Because remember, right before this he got kissed with green kryptonite lipstick, which made his skin vulnerable enough to be penetrated by Man-Bat's teeth. And now he's turned into a Man-Bat. So obviously a Superman Man-Bat is a problem. As Robin grabs Leslie to get her out of there, Tina grabs Jimmy's watch to alter it so that it could alert the Bat family. At which point Tina explains to Oracle what's going on, so Oracle sends Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, Black Canary, and Big Barda to help. Now while they're waiting for backup, Robin starts fighting Superman all by himself, but he can only hold him back for so long as this is Superman infused with Man-Bat. And he starts flapping his wings that make tornado-like winds, blowing them all away. But at this point, the cavalry arrives as Batgirl, Black Canary, and Big Barda all jump Superman. Big Barda, being the strongest of the bunch, uses her muscle to try to subdue Superman. As Robin says, I had this all under control. There's too many of us now. Jimmy's like, you're kidding, right? I'll take all the help we can get. As we see Superman bite Black Canary, now infecting her, turning her into a Man-Bat. Jimmy then says, okay, so maybe less help is better. Where's Batman in all this? Essentially, Robin doesn't want a lot of people there because the more people there, the more risk there is of metahumans getting infected with the Man-Bat serum. We then see exactly where Batman is. Bruce Wayne is at an auction buying up all the kryptonite he can. After this, we're brought back to Jimmy, Robin, and the Superman-Bat. As we see Jimmy think of an idea, telling Robin, wait, what if the Bat part of him went after her because that's it. I know why he bit her. I know how to stop him. As he gets on Robin's four-wheeler telling him go, Damian asks, go where? Jimmy tells him out of Gotham, as the Superman Man-Bat follows them. They then get outside of Gotham city limits, so Jimmy could use his Superman signal watch to call Superman, emitting a high-pitched sound which immobilizes Man-Bat, and also tells us why he went for Black Canary first, because her sound would be able to immobilize him as well. And Jimmy figured all of this out as he later tells Lois and Tina at the Daily Planet. Lois, after hearing the story, says, quite a story. Now Tina, I need you to focus. While I'm liking this new telecommunicating hologram and banana latte, how are you coming along with all our missing E's? Then on the very last page of the issue, we see Superman and Damian meet with Batman at the Batcave as Bruce says, so in short, you all turned everyone in my city into Man-Bats because you were kissed by someone wearing kryptonite lipstick? Superman replies, yes, a big enough dose of the green K to weaken me, but not enough to trigger my new natural defenses. Robin says, some defenses, as Batman shows Superman all the kryptonite he's been buying and keeping it in a lead-lined cell. Batman tells Superman, I've been doing what I can to buy most of it up and store it safely down here in lead-lined containers. But at the current cost of kryptonite, there's only so much I could do. Superman says, I appreciate it, Bruce. Any thoughts on what I should do next? I'm open to suggestions. Bruce replies, actually, I know what you have to do next. While I was scrolling around in El Caldero, I found this. As he shows him something on a tablet. Robin says, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna call it a night after I check on my secret lead-lined container. So glad Superman can't see in here. As we see, Robin is the one stealing the E's from the Daily Planet signs. And with that, the comic ends. There you have it, guys. Superman Unlimited issues 3 and 4. This series is a ton of fun, although I will say these two issues feel like standalone issues with only a little bit of a through line, so I'm curious to see where this all eventually leads. But seeing Superman turn into a Man-Bat was definitely awesome. With that said, what do you guys think? Are you digging this Superman series so far? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Other than that, we will see you next time when we talk about all things comics.